$1,000, $2,000 a month, from which they would get commission on top of everything else they generated. Where here I was out romping the streets for hours and hours and earning, $200 single sale or $300 here or there. And I had to piece together multiple small mom and pop clients in order to make even a decent living. And little did I know that all these guys were, well heeled in the big clients. And so it does pay to know the rules of the game that you're getting into so that you can play to win. Now, I'm not a competitive sort, so playing to win isn't necessarily something I always like to do, but at least know the rules of the game so that if you want to and you choose to, you can play to win. Okay, now, again, little did I know that all of this exposure, romping around the whole town or city, learning about different businesses, distilling the essence of what their product was, their service was, into a 30 or 60-second commercial that would then sell a product or service and engage the interest of the listeners. This prepared me for another stage that I moved on to, and that was business consulting and training. By the time I got into that field, I actually was quite familiar with a whole range of businesses, sectors, dynamics of what would make a business grow or be successful or succeed or even fail, and how owner-operators would think and how marketing worked and all of the aspects you need to actually run a business or be an employee in a business and get results that they're seeking. So once again, following on the breadcrumbs, one thing led to another, and I moved into that world of corporate and educational training and facilitation. Now, I'm thinking I started in that field partly by being invited to take some luminaries' books. These were luminaries, people who were considered experts in the field. They were hired for big bucks to make keynote speeches, and they had written one book, whether it was Tony Buzan and mind mapping, whether it was Edward de Bono and any number of his many books, Six Thinking Hats or Lateral Thinking or whatever was coming out at the time. And I ended up being invited through meeting these people, and that was following the breadcrumb of the neuroscience and the brain side of learning that I got to meet these people. So it was another tentacle that just led down a different rabbit hole and a different set of experiences. But I was invited by these luminaries and to convert their books into training courses and then be the first instructor of those courses in order to set up a recurring business model for them so they didn't have to keep doing keynotes out on the road on tour or selling books for which, with the traditional publishing method actually earns them very little in terms of royalties. You'd be shocked if you knew how little people earn on expensive books. The publishers take everything, and the authors earn very little. That's a little bit different now with Kindle and other types of self-publishing, but in the day, that was the case. So looking over a couple of additional lessons, if I can read my own notes here. I already said about paying attention to your inklings and your interests and following the breadcrumbs, and then pay attention to themes that keep recurring. So for me, even though I've moved from the corporate and educational training into authoring and radio, and I still do workshops and I still do teaching and coaching, the underlying theme that has stayed with me throughout my whole life, frankly, is all about human optimization, human wellness, human evolution. How do we make our life experience better, richer? For me, I'm looking to weave through my life experiences a tapestry that I call my rich tapestry of life, and have the warp and the woof of those experiences be colorful and be full of texture and full of meaning and full of TLC. So I might have started out as a kid thinking I wanted to be a doctor. The irony is I'm now a brain trainer. I'm not a medical brain trainer, but I know a lot about neuroscience and how it affects life and learning and leadership and even legacy. So I invite and have taught my kids growing up to expose yourself widely to a range of experiences. And also, as part of that, to make sure you take experience. Don't be just a spectator to your life. Be an active participant through those multiple experiences that you experience. And this will not only create a wellspring of memories that create part of that rich tapestry of life for you, but frankly, it becomes a cauldron from which you can dip into to create creative experiences in the future. So it all takes paying attention in any given present. And at the same time, you not only have wonderful present, you create rich memories, and you also set up a possible rich and creative future for yourself. So it all feeds into it. I would invite you also to step outside your comfort zone. It's all too easy for us to just get comfortable, and I have no problem with being comfortable. It's nice and it's comforting many times to be comfortable. But in terms of having the richness and the kaleidoscopic life that we're here on this planet to have in our, multiple decades, however long we are able to be here and healthy and living fully, why not? Expose yourself to as many different things as you can and go out of your comfort zone, try new things, meet new people, learn new perspectives, and expand your own perception of people, places, and projects in this world. And ultimately, I think in hindsight, many people look back and they go over regrets. So if you, as much as possible, design out regrets, design out need to forgive at a late stage, do it now, because not only will you release the other person you are forgiving, but you are released yourself. So forgive now, and your life takes on a better quality of existence. And I think just in terms of wrapping up, I think if we understand that all things in our earthly universe are energy, it comes down, life and all living things come down to vibrational energy. Even things that aren't living have a vibrational energy. We are in charge of the energy we put off. And so find ways to maintain your vibrational health, your energetic health, and well-being. And that includes everything from, what we put into our bodies in terms of our nutrition, our exercise, but also our thoughts, the invisible kinds of things that we often don't even attribute to how much it affects our well-being and our lifestyle, are the invisible and the intangible aspects, our feelings, our thoughts. So surround yourself as much as possible with loving people, with things you love, with places you love, things you like to do, and, seek that peace of mind, which passes all understanding. So I think that's a wrap for me. That for me would describe a life well lived. And I invite you to explore for yourself decisions you've made, choices you've made, paths you've taken. Are there any you still want to take that you have time to while you have time to? And otherwise, let it go. And just enjoy the miracle and the magic of your life and your unique and amazing self. So with that, thank you so much for being with us, listening to the show. Do check out the archives at sobradionetwork.com. Also my website, gamechangerthinking.com. And I want to thank my producer, Joe Dobzinski, who is a magic man in his own right and a font of wisdom and history in the radio and broadcast industry. So thanks to Joe, and And a hi ho to you. And remember that the life you live is the legacy you leave. Bye bye now.